Good afternoon, Mr. Pari. In this occasion, I want to explain a little bit about my article. I take the article from internet. It's from Journal of Pragmatics and Discourse Analysis. The title is The Function and Meaning Potential of Discourse Markers in the TV talk show Discourse. There are two authors in this article. The first one is Lo Fei and Lei Lei, and the second author is Zhou. They are from College of Foreign Languages from Shanghai Ocean University, China. And yeah, basically this paper is article is aimed to explore the function of discourse markers in the TV talk show genre and figure out the meaning potential of discourse marker in specific discourse. And for the theory, the main theory is according to Brinton's theory that propose that discourse markers are divided into two parts. Function. The first one is textual function, and the second one is interpersonal function. And for the introduction, there are so much description about what is discourse marker from many linguist theory, such as from Verschuren. It says that discourse marker, or DM, is the presentation of metalinguistically reflexive activity in interaction. Jadi reflexivity itu is manifested as the speaker's awareness of linguistic choices made both with regard to what to say and how to say. Itu menurutnya Verschuren. Ada juga di sini dari Scriven. Teorinya Scriven, dia bilang the MS itu could be words, sentences, prepositions, speech act, tone units, including emojis, punctuation in some way. Terus kalau dari Brinton, ini teori utamanya Brinton, itu DMS divided into function of pragmatic marker. Pragmatic marker itu terms that used by Brinton's. Dia tuh bilang it divided into two categories, ada textual and interpersonal function. Kalau Eichmer itu claims that textual and interpersonal function should be seen as the potential meaning of the particles which can co-occur in the sum discourse. Jadi Eichmer itu bilang kalau textual dan interpersonal function itu tuh ada potential meaningnya. Jadi DMS itu tuh sebutannya itu potential meaning. Jadi bukan fixed meaning tapi potential meaning. Itu untuk introductionnya. Itu in the introduction there are also studies related. Itu dari Scriven, Ferry, Kate, Fang, Ismail, Mulkar, dan lain sebagainya. So there are so many titles related to discourse marker. Terus literature review. Literature reviewnya tuh approachesnya tuh using Scriven, Fraser, sama Brinton's theory. Scriven bilang she identified 11 DMS through the phone call conversation and created 5 plain model to study the definition and function of discourse marker. Kalau dari Fraser itu dia bilang concluded that the characterization of discourse markers and categorize them into 4 different types. Dia juga bilang discourse marker itu have a core meaning, ada makna intinya, and their specific meaning is negotiated by the context. Jadi core meaningnya itu tuh tergantung dari konteks. Terus ada dari Brinton. Brinton bilang seperti yang di awal, propose the dichotomy of discourse marker. Jadi pembagian dari discourse marker itu ada dua. Dia juga, she believed that discourse marker atau DMS itu phonologically short items that have no or little referential meaning but serve a pragmatic or procedural purposes. Dia bilang itu. Terus literature review of views to DMS. Untuk melihat ke teori-teori yang tadi di atas itu, mereka juga connected the theory from many linguists seperti dari Holiday and Hassan, Alexander, Christian Kops, dan Blackmores. Terus ada juga database. Database-nya itu from Ellen Show. It's a famous American TV talk show. And the database-nya itu taken from ESEC atau the Ellen Show of Spoken English Corpus from 34 transcription texts and transcribed from 3 to 10 minutes video into 2,000 or so tokens, but the total tokens in this article is 42,830 and the video are available in Bilibili. Bilibili is a platform that streaming films, video. Nah, ada metodologi. Nah, metodologi itu di sini ada 3 steps. Tapi sebelum itu dia juga jelasin aims-nya. Jadi aims-nya itu di sini sebenarnya itu untuk figure out the use of preference function sama meaning potential DMS based on Brinton's theory, Brinton's dichotomy of discourse marker function. Dia juga ngasih tahu kalau textual function itu they are used to mark various kind of boundaries to initiate or end a discourse or to effect a shift in topic. Yang kedua itu ada to assist in turn taking in oral discourse or chunking in written discourse. Nah, dia juga bilang kalau untuk interpersonal itu they are used subjectively to express an attitude sama interactively to achieve intimacy between speakers and addressee. Jadi kalau interpersonal itu secara subjektif untuk express attitude dari speaker. Terus untuk secara interaktif melihat kedekatan antara speaker dan listenernya. Terus ini juga dia ngasih bagan. Ada classification of the MS function based on Brinton's interpretation. Itu ada 2 di sini, interpersonal function sama textual function. Kalau interpersonal function, there are 2 subcategories. First one is subjectively and second one interpersonally. Nah, whereas in the textual function there are 6 subcategories. Ada opening closing frame marker, ada turn taker giver keeper, ada filler, ada topic switch, ada information indicator, ada sequence or relevance marker. Nah, ini there are 3 steps that need to be done in order to identify the MS function in ESEC corpus. First one itu kita identify the MS in the ESEC corpus according to the features and definition. Jadi kita itu mengidentifikasinya di sini dia bilang lewat definisi-definisi yang disampaikan oleh linguist. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 definition based on linguist. Kayak DMS itu they are syntactically independent, they are optional, they are syntactically flexible, they have a property of connectivity, property of orality dan lain sebagainya. Pokoknya ada 11 definition. After that, we make a null annotation. Jadi setelah kita mengidentifikasi berdasarkan definisi pengertian, jadi kita buat notes. Setelah itu sort out the annotation in NCON and conclude them in the following tables. Setelah kita mengidentifikasi, terus kita nulis, terus kita sort out. Sort out itu apa sih namanya? Memilih DMS itu masukin ke kategori-kategorinya. Nah, itu dibuat ke table. Dia table 1 itu the textual function of DMS in the TV talk show. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 columns. First one is the functional domain, explanation, DMS, occurrence, and distribution. As you know, the textual function itu functional domainnya itu ada opening marker, closing frame, turn taker, fillers, topic switcher, and etc. So ada explanationnya. What is opening frame? Misalnya di sini, to initiate discourse, including claiming the attention of the hearer. Nah, ini DMS-nya yang dipakai. Ada and, but, now, so let's talk about hey, I mean. Nah, ini occurrence-nya ada 982, terus distribution-nya ada 57.7%. Setelah itu table 2, there are ada interpersonal function, itu sama, there are 6 columns, isinya functional domain, explanation, DMS-nya, occurrence-nya berapa, distribution-nya berapa persen. Terus dia juga it puts the general distribution of DMS in the TV talk show from each function. Jadi textual function in general tuh occurrence berapa, distribution berapa, interpersonal functionnya in general occurrence berapa, distributionnya berapa. Dia juga nyantum. Nah, we move on to the findings. Nah, as I said before, this article aims to find out the use of preference, the function, and the potential meaning of DMS in the TV talk show Ellen Show. First one is the use of preference of DMS in the TV talk show. Nah, di dalam untuk mencari preference DMS di TV talk show ini, artikel ini tuh bilang bahwa the TV talk show itu acquires a question, answer, and reaction gap from the audience. Jadi in conversational flow itu there are 3 system. Ini untuk konteks TV talk show itu ada 3 system. Ada question system, ada answer system, ada response system. Nah, question system itu biasanya it tends to given by the interlocutor. Answer system itu given by the speaker atau the guest, and response system itu from the audience. Nah, di MS-nya tuh yang dipakai itu biasanya kalau question system ada, dia bilang ada so, let's talk about, but, now, okay, etc. Kalau answer system ada well, respon ada yeah, okay, alright, fantastic, iya dan sebagainya. Nah, artikel ini juga bilang bahwa there is a function preference of discourse marker chosen by a specific role among other function. Jadi di sini intinya dia mau bilang bahwa salah satu discourse marker dari sistem di dalam conversational system yang bisa dipakai yang bisa dipakai di berbagai macam sistem, nggak cuman di, misalnya dia ngasih contoh ini so ini kan itu kalau di table 4 itu kan used by question system kan. Nah, tapi di sini dia menjelaskan bahwa so itu bisa digunakan di sistem yang lain seperti answer system, but they have another function. Jadi the function itu depends on the role that the speaker utterance. No. Maksudnya kayak the function itu based on the function of DMS itu based on the role of the speaker. Jadi dia mau bilang bahwa function dari discourse marker itu it depends on the role of the speakers in the conversational system. Jadi ini misalnya example one, dia bilang, interlocutor bilang, right, exactly. So what are you doing for Mother's Day for Bahadi? Terus ada speaker yang kedua tuh merespon, dia bilang, I can disclose what I am, cause it's her 30th birthday. So like, I'm not supposed to say that, blah 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 blah. Terus dia juga bilang, so I'm not gonna talk about that. Nah, di sini dia menjelaskan tuh bahwa the first so yang interlocutor bilang itu tuh used by the host to initiate a question that was not mentioned before in their conversation. Nah, so yang di awal itu functionnya untuk sebagai open marker. It makes the unmentioned information show itself more naturally and more acceptable. Whereas in the second utterance by the speaker itu, so ini fungsinya bukan, dia bilang fungsinya bukan lagi sebagai open marker, tapi sebagai the reason why the speakers cannot talk about it and expose the speaker's epistemic stance of willingness and uncertainty. Jadi, so it has different function in a question system and in answer system. They work together to enhance coherence of this text. Jadi kita meskipun dia bilang meskipun fungsinya berbeda, tapi mereka di dalam function itu tuh mereka tuh work together to enhance coherence of this text. Jadi make it more natural and more acceptable. Dia bilang gitu. Nah, karena dalam satu discourse marker itu bisa memiliki potential meaning yang banyak, maka disebutnya ini the multifunctionality of DMS. Di artikel nanti dijelasin. Terus next move to dichotomy function of DMS in TV talk show. Dichotomy of function di sini it says that in DMS itu there are two function which are the textual function and interpersonal function based on Brinton's theory. Ini pakai di sini. Terus dia juga tuh discourse marker function itu punya ultimate goals. Jadi the first ultimate goals itu to make coherence through a text, dan yang kedua itu tuh to ultimate goal ya, to achieve solidarity. Jadi ya itu ada ultimate goal ya. Terus ini dia juga nyantumin, she put the apa sih namanya, general distribution of the MS in the editorial, in the interview, and the TV talk show. Jadi ada persentasenya, ada presentation. The textual in the TV talk show, the textual function is bigger than in the interpersonal function, which is 63%. Dia bilang juga, no matter in the editorial, interview, or TV talk show, the textual function itu always exceeded the interpersonal function. Why? Because discourse marker, dia bilang, discourse marker itu firstly function to help communication to be cohesive, understandable, and natural. And then, baru work to meet the higher need to keep solidarity in conversation. Dia bilang gitu. Nah ini next move to meaning potential ya. Jadi karena the discourse marker itu punya banyak meaning potential, maka di sini disebutnya multifunctionality of several DMS. Nah dia bilang DMS itu have meaning potential because they have no fixed meaning in different circumstances. Jadi nggak punya fixed meaning. Adanya apa? Meaning potensial, astaga lupa. Nah dia juga bilang meaning potential itu tuh It depends on the context. Jadi dia bilang prominent characteristic of meaning potential is that context determine the way in which the meaning potential is presented. Dia juga bilang when a language context is altered and or reconstructed, its meaning potential goes with it and may be extended with richer meaning potential deriving from the new context. It depends on the context. Nah, ini juga they put the table 5 multifunctionality of several DMS in TV talk show. Ada DMS itu ada and, well, so and then, but, you know, I mean, ya, yeah, alright. Terus dia juga nyantumin functionnya, ada show continuity, open marker, topic chapter, ada occurrences-nya, ada meaning potential-nya. Nah, meaning potential itu will be discussed in the last part of this article. Nah, ini dia multifunctional discourse. Nah, ini dia ngasih ada dua contoh penggunaan DMS, ada and so. Nah, in example ini dia bilang kan interlocutor ya, and you thought he was just coming to see you. Terus speaker bilang, and so I was completely blinded when he walked in, bla bla bla. Nah, in the first and in ini interlocutor itu works as turn taker. Also, the function is to show continuity of preceding information. Nah, yang kedua, and so I was completely blah blah blah. Itu first position could be turn taker and open marker to add new information into the utterance. Jadi fungsi and ini itu nggak cuma sebagai turn taker tapi bisa juga sebagai to show continuity. Kalau and so yang di sini itu fungsinya bisa sebagai turn taker, bisa juga sebagai open marker karena dia add new information into the utterance. Jadi dia basically we can conclude that one discourse marker can have two potential meaning. Terus gap research-nya itu karena ini it's genre yang dipakai itu tuh cuman satu, yaitu TV talk show, maka writers itu should be aware of patterns of language use characteristic of specific genre. Jadi language pattern itu harus fokusnya ke genre TV talk show. Terus further analysis itu should be indicate the various patterns on the basis large scale of genre research. And ya, the datanya itu tuh limited karena it serve just the present data at the time, pada waktu itu di korpus itu. Jadi present study-nya itu the writer hope that it also suggests the future research with larger and more varied samples that can be done to arrive at more conclusive research or generalization. Seperti itu. Oke, itu aja Pak. Makasih.